So I wanted to spend a couple minutes on this theory, and this is something that I think the book is, and what this class is, completely related to. Everything that this theory encompasses is what child, family, and community is about. So it's called the ecological family systems theory, and it's by Urie Bronfenbrenner. And so Urie Bronfenbrenner created this systems theory, and he believed that there were interactions with the environment, nature, nurture, everything, and others all contribute to who we are as people. So we all experience more than one type of environment, right? Sometimes it's we have this home environment, the school environment, a community, our peers, friends' houses, sports teams, different things. And so this theory really focuses on all of these complex systems and how they interact to affect a child's development. So it emphasizes the not only the families and home and school, but also the influences between societies and our cultural norms. And it's throughout the world. This is not just a American ideal and how we are all together in different cultures and different backgrounds, but this is how different cultures feel about different different countries feel about different cultures and all of that. So this is what it looks like, his system, and I'm going to come back to this as we go through and explain each one. So we've got the child in the middle. And the child, you are going to do an activity on this, you're going to talk about you. So you would be in the middle of this. Your age, if you're talking about you at age 4 or you at age 8, all of that. So whatever the makeup of the child is in the middle. Your microsystem is the closest system around the child. So it's the family, school, everybody's is different. Everybody's microsystem is different. It could be a church group. That does not mean that every child that attends church has the church in their microsystem. If it's a huge part of their development and their focus, then it would be in their microsystem. If a child attends church sporadically or it's not mentioned much in the home, it's just one more place to go type of thing, then it would not necessarily be in their microsystem. So looking at the microsystem, this setting in which the individual lives, so this is their family, peers, school, and neighborhood. It's the microsystem that has the most direct interactions. So the direct interactions with parents, peers, and teachers, for example. So the child is not a passive recipient of experiences in these settings, but someone who helps to construct the settings. So the child is an active participant at home, an active participant in school, in church, in neighborhoods, all of that. It's not happening to them, it's happening with them. So the next one is the Mesosystem, and I'll go back and show you what that looks like in a second. But this refers to the relationships between the microsystems or connections. So an example of that are the family experiences to school experiences, or school experiences to church, family to peer. So let's look at the Mesosystem. If we look at the Mesosystem, you can see in that blue system right here, this is the direct interaction between this. So in this child's microsystem, if they have family and school, the Mesosystem is the interaction between the family and school. Does the family have a good feeling about the school? If the family does not feel that the school is doing a good job, doesn't like the teacher, thinks the principal, that comes up at home. That is not, they're not doing that in a bubble. The feelings of the family and the school are definitely shown to the child. And so if the school is constantly complaining about the parents of the child, or feels that they shouldn't have to, I don't know, have any, say you have a child that is Muslim and has prayer times and they want to, or is practicing Eid or Ramadan and is fasting, and the school is kind of exasperated by that and not understanding there's only one child that does this, so why are we taking any time out to deal with the child? Those kind of interactions or understandings between the two systems make up the Mesosystem. So it's those interactions between each other. The Exosystem involves the links between a social setting in which the individual does not have an active role and the individual's immediate context. So an exosystem is something that has some sort of direct interaction on a child, but doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the child. So child may have a mom that is going to work and is having a terrible work experience. And the child is feeling that directly because the mom is grumpy when she gets home. She's sad. She's searching the want ads. She's not participating at home as fully. So that is something that has a direct influence on the child, but is not necessarily a direct correlation to the child. Another exosystem might be the family's benefits through their work. A child that has a condition that they are seeking medical attention for, but the parents both have insurance that is not great through their work, or maybe they don't have insurance through their work and they are buying junk insurance, and they are stressing about taking the child to the doctor because they need their allergy shot, but it's going to be a $300 shot. So that would have a direct influence on the child. The parent's health insurance has a direct influence on the child, although it doesn't necessarily think it would. So let's go back to what that looks like. So the exosystem is right there. Oh, so that actually brings us to the macrosystem. So the macrosystem is the big, remember macro is big, micro is little. So macrosystem describes the culture in which individuals live. And this sometimes is not able to be verbalized as well, because capturing attitudes and that kind of thing is a hard thing to put into words, and it can be very over generalized and simplified. But it's the cultural context include developing an industrialized country, socioeconomic status, poverty, and ethnicity. So think about the macrosystem that the child lives in. You have if a child lives in, say, Clovis, an upscale part of Clovis, and they have, their neighbors are very wealthy, and they are very wealthy, and they all go to a Christian church, and they all vote the same way, and you have that child's experience is going to be very different from a child who is raised in a more urban area that has to rely on public transportation, who has some neighbors that are like family, and some neighbors that they stay away from because they're dangerous. Everybody goes to different churches and kind of brings those values to the neighborhood, and or they don't go to church. They are very diverse in their way of thinking as well as their political leanings. So that child has a different macro system than the other child. Now, note no macro system is bad or good. It's just what it is. So if we look at the system again, the macro system are the attitudes and ideologies of the culture. So the very last one is the Chrono system, and the Chrono system is something that happens that is a traumatic experience for the child. So a divorce, a death of somebody in the family, something world-shattering. So when we do our own systems, when we're talking about our own systems, not everybody has a Chrono system. Not everybody has something that really was traumatic. Even for one child, a divorce may be in their Chrono system, but for another child, the divorce was not as big a deal. It's because that's what nature and nurture looks like for a child, right? How we deal with different situations. So Chrono system is something that really big happens, that really shakes the child's world, so that everything is a little bit tilted on the axis, and now they have their systems are now different. So something that is a big kind of a shattering event. So this is the ecological theory from Uri Brofenbrenner.